Okay. Thanks so much for joining me, ladies. This is my webinar, The Secret Behind Manifesting Launch Results. And I'm super excited to bring this one to you because I've got my own take on manifesting. It's super practical. It's really to do with the power is within you. And I know that sounds cliche, but you'll see as we go along sort of how that pans out. So feel free to, I'd love to hear what you're looking for in the chat box. And yeah, we'll go from there. And feel free to chat the whole time. I'll try and keep an eye on it. So, yes, a little bit about me. I've got a husband, Jim, and he's a National Parks Ranger, and he's actually been away at fires in Glen Innes for the last 9 days. He's coming home this afternoon and I'm so excited. I really am pretty grateful for my husband right now. I've also had my sick dad staying with us for 3 weeks, and so I am ready for hubby to come home. Very appreciative of hubby right now. I've got a 3-year-old daughter, Nola, who is missing her dad like crazy. We had tears this morning. And a dog, Lacey. She's a Kelpie. I live in Anna Bay. I moved here in March from Newcastle, but I'm originally a Sydney girl, but I've also lived in Scone. And I like long walks on the beach. We live about 150 metres from the beach right now. So I'm loud, super fun, and a wee bit rebellious. I'm a mindset coach, clinical hypnotherapist, master NLP practitioner, EFT or emotional freedom technique practitioner, and I've got a double degree in business and art psychology. So how did I get here? Essentially, I worked as a rehab counsellor, but then 3 years ago had my daughter and experienced pretty bad postnatal anxiety. I did all the normal things. I went and saw a psychologist. I went and saw a psychiatrist. I went on medication, but it wasn't until I found hypnotherapy that I really, like, my world and my belief in the brain and the power of the brain and your ability to change your world really sort of exploded. I always had a keen interest in psychology, and so once I found hypnotherapy and the power of the brain and your power to reprogram your brain, I absolutely loved it. And I started working with women in business in approximately June last year. I said in one of my webinars that it was January, but I looked back and it's been a long time. It was June last year. And I started working with the first lady I ever got. She was earning $10,000 a month, but she still wasn't enjoying her business. And so we very quickly changed that for her. And I just went, oh, this is like a sweet spot for me. I'm going to be able to help all of these women really train their brains and go for what they want and get what they want in their businesses. So I'm totally obsessed with the power of the mind. I'm constantly learning. Even when I have a client and I'm like kind of lost on what we're going to do next, I go and research new techniques, new things of doing things. I've also got a supervisor that I can lean on, all sorts of things. But the interesting thing is that I have always believed that you can do anything you set your mind to. And interestingly, I had this belief because my mum used to tell me that as a kid. And then obviously that belief really wobbled when I experienced my own anxiety and that total feeling of being vulnerable and like I was at the mercy of my own emotions. But now I just have this belief even more than ever now. I just have the processes to back this up. And this can make business a whole lot easier, having all of these techniques and the power to train your own brain. So a little bit about you. Obviously, I don't know all of you individually, but I'm assuming that you potentially could be feeling frustrated that you never seem to be able to follow your launch plan, frustrated that your results don't match your level of effort. So you're putting all the hard work in, but for some reason there's kind of not, the results aren't coming. You may be on a bit of a roller coaster when it comes to promising big outcomes. You may be feeling stuck or demotivated when you think about your next launch, like it just feels too hard. And you most probably are wanting to double the income of your next launch at least. So it could be more than this, and that's absolutely cool. There are a couple of people also that I think we're going to jump on who haven't launched anything yet. And this will be a great introduction. I've included a very simple launch plan so that you can see what that looks like. And then obviously the main focus of this particular webinar is to teach you how to keep the mindset propelling you forward through your launch so that you can manifest the results that you want. So a little bit about today. We're going to go through my 5-step process to manifesting launch results, and that involves getting clear on what you want, decluttering. 3 is simple and easy launch plan, optimizing your brain function, and then priming your day every day of your launch. We're going to look at what is your plan from here, working with a practitioner and what that looks like, a couple of case studies, questions, and then obviously how you can work with me if you decide to go the practitioner version. But I'm essentially teaching you the DIY version today. So manifesting launch results. Essentially, I've sort of already been through that. We're going to get you clear on what you want. We're going to declutter. We're going to go through a simple and easy launch plan, optimize brain function, and then priming your day. And I'm going to go through each of them specifically. And essentially, once you do all of these things, it's like a big boom. Your results of your launch will just explode. But I'm going to throw in a word of caution here. And the word of caution is based on a lot of things that I see when people DIY their mindset and where they get stuck. So in this particular mindset and launch process, we don't focus on limiting beliefs. So obviously that's a big part of my job as a mindset coach. I help you clear limiting beliefs. But in this launch, like how to manifest launch beliefs, we're going to go with the resources that you already have. Because if you focus on the limiting beliefs, you've got a high chance of becoming stuck and losing momentum. So we also don't focus on your triggers for the same reason, and we don't focus on what the universe is not providing us. So often, obviously the universe is magical, and once you all of these things play out, the magic of the universe, like I often feel like the universe is winking at me, but I leave it at that, and I become really grateful for all of that. But all those sayings of the universe must be trying to tell me something, or even attributing your results to the universe, your results are yours. And so I just find that sometimes there can be this unhealthy attachment to what we can't directly control. And so we're going to focus on ourselves and then let the magic of the universe play out. So we can still notice our limiting beliefs and triggers along the way, but unless you're working with a practitioner, we don't want to focus on them. We want to focus on what we want all the time, but especially during launch. And don't get me wrong here, like the clearing of limiting beliefs absolutely takes you to the next level in business. But unless you're working with a practitioner during your launch, then you're best to utilize the resources that you've already got. Okay, cool. I think I've gone through all of that. So the first one is get clear on what you want for your launch. So I just want you to take a couple of minutes here, either if you're here with us live or if you're here on the recording, and just think about your next launch, or if you're not launching something, think about your next webinar or your next stage of business. Doesn't have to be launch, but for these purposes, we're going to go for what is your launch and what is the goal for your launch. So a good place to start is obviously what is the financial goal for the launch. The first launch that I did was, my goal was 10K. To bring in 10K of income during that particular launch. And it was a launch that went over about a 4 or 5 week period. And then I want you to really check in, and you may even like to close your eyes if you're not driving for this one. How do you want to be feeling throughout the launch? Obviously, your launch is a time where you really get to show up for your clients. How do you want to be feeling? How do you want to be feeling? How do you want to be guiding them? What do you want to be thinking to yourself? How do you want to be behaving? So do you want to be behaving like a headless chook running all over the place? I'd say the answer is no. Or do you want to be behaving like really systematically, ticking off your couple of things every day, and then going on and enjoying the rest of the day? And the key to this one is to really visualize it. So you know how often people will do like a vision board, and I still start with a vision board, but the key to really ingraining those goals into your brain and to get your subconscious to really go for it is to visualize it. And if you visualize it and continuously visualize it, your subconscious will unlock all sorts of resources to get you there. You may not even know what they are. In fact, most probably you won't even notice what they are. Okay, cool. So the next stage is to declutter. Step two is to declutter. And this seems like a really obvious one, but people don't do it. Whenever I have clients, in session with me, not only are they trying to launch their program or their course or their VIP packages, they are trying to get a LinkedIn profile set up, start learning about Instagram, going to 10,000 networking events. Like, the list of things that we do in our business is huge. So I just want you to, when you're launching something, you want all of your energy on your launch. What can you scrap from your business to-do list? What can you scrap from your personal to-do list? And so I want to give an example here, because Tash Corbin had an auction in her Heart-Centered, Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs group the other day, and I won a retreat with her. I mean, I had to pay for it, but I won the bid. And I have decided to go. I'm pretty sure I'm going at the end of October. And so this is a similar thing that happens during launch, is if I'm going to be able to give all of my energy to that thing in order to be able to get the most out of it, I have to scrap a whole heap of things. And I feel like I do this every month, to be honest. What else can I scrap from my to-do list? What else can I scrap from? So instead of trying to tick everything off my to-do list, I've flipped it on its head. What can I scrap from my to-do list? What do I not need to do? Everything can wait. Obviously, I say everything with like a bit of tongue in cheek. Not everything can wait. You've obviously got family commitments and other business commitments, but I just want you to review your to-do list through this lens of, is it really important, or am I better to focus my energy on my launch? Because that's where you're going to get the best results. So the more spaciousness you feel when you are launching, the more time you can spend doing things that light you up. Now, we all know this consciously, but most of my clients are mindset coaches or coaches of some type or another. We don't do it. The more spaciousness you feel when you are launching, or even in your business, the more time you can spend doing the things that light you up. Imagine the content and the vibe and the energy that you then bring to your launch when you are feeling lit up. If you are feeling tired and deprived and overworked and burnt out, you ain't going to bring that's not very good English, but you're not going to bring a very good energy to your launch. And that really is the key here, is we're doing all sorts of things to be able to help you have that high vibe energy during your launch. And that is the thing that is ultimately going to manifest the results. So I just inserted this slide from another one of the trainings that I did, but essentially Denise Duffield Thomas, she's got a new book out. Well, it's not that new anymore, but it's called Chillpreneur, and she's all about easy and lazy business. And I just love this one thing that she says, and I've been talking to all of my clients about it. She applies the filter, all roads lead to boot camp, and boot camp is her signature program. So any ideas that she comes up with, she views it through the lens of, is this going to lead to boot camp? And so she even scrapped an entire book. She wrote an entire book that then didn't, like, this is how ruthless you have to be. She wrote an entire book that didn't, or she worked out, didn't end up leading to her signature thing. And so she scrapped it. So I just wanted to throw this in there so that we can now say all roads lead to this particular launch, baby. So basically that helps you when you go through the to-do list, scrap anything that doesn't lead to the launch. So I want you to review your to-do list through this lens, and everything else can wait. And of course we can use the 80-20 rule here, like with everything that I say to do daily and all of this stuff, it's the 80-20 rule. But if we move in this direction, we're going to nail it. Okay, cool. So the third thing is a simple and easy launch plan. Now, I'm no business strategist, but I've learned a lot of business strategy along the way, and I wanted to throw this in there to really show how easy my first launch plan actually was set out. I had a whole bunch of actions that I had to do. It was a weekly newsletter. I did Facebook page posts every day on my page and lives in relation to that. Some of them were promo posts with regards to my webinar or my actual offer. I did Facebook group posts. I did a monthly webinar, or no, I think I did 2 webinars for that particular launch. And then I did email sequences after the webinars, and and then a bunch of sales calls, and then I booked people in. Like, that's how easy a launch plan can be. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate it, but we do want to include in there launch prep time, so prepping before you go into launch, and then support. What kind of support are you going to need? What tasks can you give to your VA? That's the other thing. When you're reviewing that to-do list, like, what else can you delegate? You don't need to be doing all of that. What support can you get around the home? What support can you get from a VA? What support can you get from an accountability perspective? What support can you get from a mindset perspective? All of those things. So number 4 is we look at optimal brain function. So I've just chucked in the normal, like the 3 ones that you would, I don't specialize in them, but they're like very basic. Are you going to bed on time? Are you exercising or moving your body? Are you eating well? It's particularly important to do this in launch time. And I'm one of those people who loves to stay up late at night. So I always have to remind myself about sleep. And then we really, when we're talking about optimal brain function, we really want to harness our ability to move through and master our ability to move through emotions quickly and to step into emotions that we want. So when I am talking to potential clients, the most common thing that they want is they want to feel a certain way about their business or about their launch. They want to have more energy. They want to feel more confident. They want to, I don't know, give me another word. They want to feel more confident. They want to have more energy. They want to feel like their business is easy. Often we wait for the launch or the business to make us feel a certain way. But we can actually learn how to release whatever negative emotion it is that we're hanging on to, and how to step into the emotion that we want. So when we wake up in the morning, we can step into confidence. We can step into energy. We can step into the feeling of easy. or the feeling of abundance, or whatever it may be. So this is where my skills really like come into play, is, and I think it's because I came from that place of having or experiencing postnatal anxiety. Like, I really was at the mercy of my own emotions. And so often in the health and wellness space, we see people say, just sit with your emotions, or which is amazing, like it's the first step. But I believe that you can actually move through them. Once you really master this, you can move through them really quickly, and you can learn how to step into another emotion. And I just had this really cool experience. So obviously I've been practicing this for a long time now, and I'm still practicing. And I used to experience like debilitating fear on an airplane. And I haven't done any hypnotherapy or any intensive work on my fear of flying. But I went on a plane like probably 3 or 4 months ago. I can't even remember where it was to. But I had this really cool experience where, because I've now got this, I've mastered this ability to process my emotions and move and step into the emotion that I want. I practiced this on a plane, and obviously that was the scenario that really challenged me a lot. And it's, you know, again, I was pleasantly surprised. It totally works. So I'm going to do 3 techniques with you today. And the first one is our ability to overcome worry, negative thinking, or mind chatter. So really, worry, negative thinking, and mind chatter, they're brain patterning things. So we buy into those thoughts, but they're just thoughts. And when we start, the easiest way to describe it is when someone has intrusive thoughts or catastrophic thoughts, it's like they have that first thought and then the thoughts get carried away. But the same thing happens even on a lesser extent with worry, negative thinking, and mind chatter. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this technique with you. So if you're not driving, if you're driving, you can still play along, but don't close your eyes. And I just want you to go ahead and close your eyes and think of the last time that you were worrying. Just get a sense of that worry there, of those thoughts. You don't need to see or hear them exactly. Just get a sense of them. And now I want you to imagine that you can point to where you think those thoughts are coming from in your brain. So for me, it's at the front of my brain. It's going to feel like you're making it up, but just go with whatever first comes into your mind. Just point to the part of your brain that you feel like those thoughts are coming from. And now I want you to go ahead and pretend and imagine that you can turn down those thoughts in your imagination. Just pretend that you can. Good. And just noticing, what does that feel like now? And now I want you to pretend and imagine that you can move them to a different part of your brain. Just pretend that you can. Pick them up, move them to a different part of your brain. Good. Just checking in with yourself. What do you notice now? So the most common feedback that I get with this particular technique is that people feel nothing, or they even say, I feel empty now, but in a good way. And so this really, like I call it like a negative thought transfer or a negative thought diffuser technique, because it really allows you to, instead of trying to not think the thoughts, which basically makes you fight against that and think them even harder, it does something different with them. And this creates a new neural pathway in the brain, and your brain basically doesn't know what to do with it. And so it's like it releases, it doesn't cause the negative feeling that's associated with that negative thinking. And so you don't feel worried and you don't feel anxious. It just totally jumps onto a different path. Cool. So I'd love to hear in the chat box how you went with that one, and you can open your eyes when you're ready. The next one is our ability to process emotions on the spot. So one of the things that I'm so passionate about in today's society is that we're not taught how to release our emotions on the spot. So this is a really cool one to, if you wake up and you feel demotivated, or if you wake up and you feel sluggish, or if you wake up and you feel low mood, or whatever it is, especially on your launch day, you can do this particular one. Or if you've been triggered by something, you can do this particular technique. So the biggest thing that I hear from women in business would be that they feel stressed or overwhelmed, especially around launch time. And so I just want you to close your eyes if you can, so long as you're not driving, and think back to the last time that you were feeling stressed or overwhelmed. And just notice, where do you feel it in your body? What would you rate it out of 10? And now I want you to go ahead and give it a colour. If it were to be a colour, what colour would it be? And now I want you to pretend and imagine that you're putting a big window or door over the top of that feeling, that sensation in your body. And I want you to start to let it out. Simply pretending and imagining that you're putting a big window or door over the top of that colour, of that sensation, in whatever part of your body that you can feel it. And simply imagining it releasing from your body now. Good. Continuing to do that for another second. Beautiful work. And just asking and checking in with yourself, what do you notice now? What would you rate it out of 10 now? Good. This is a beautiful one that you can teach children as well. So coming all the way back to me now by opening your eyes. And Caroline just says that from the previous exercise, so the negative thought transfer one, you felt the emotion leave your brain, feeling centered. Beautiful, Caroline. And so just feel free to comment in the chat box, how did you feel after this particular one, the emotional release one through the window or door? I'd love to hear how you went. And, you know, without any expectations or judgment of needing to drop it to 0. We obviously didn't do it for very long, but it's something that you can almost meditate on, just visualizing, letting it out. Okay, cool. So then we move into, now that we can diffuse our negative thoughts, we can process emotions on the spot. Now we want to move into the really exciting bit, and it's our ability to step into the emotion that we want. So one beautiful way that we can do this, we can do it with confidence. The second one was harder, Kerry. Yeah, okay, cool. And the beautiful thing about all these different exercises is normally you resonate with one more than the other, and that is totally cool. And I suppose that's one of my specialties. I'm just going to plug in my computer. That's one of my specialties, is that I find the thing that works for you. And so I normally just teach you a whole bunch of stuff and we work out which one works. Yeah, you had trouble releasing with the second one. You did feel a shift. Yeah, and potentially we just didn't do it long enough. Yeah, cool. No worries. And that's interesting because normally it's the other way around for people to grab the context of which exercise. Normally it's the other one that works. Anyway, cool. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. So this is our ability to step into the emotion that we want. So we're going to do it with, is there anything particular that you want to do it with? I'm thinking you can step into confidence, but it could be energy. There's only a couple of you here, so anything particular? Any emotion that you want to be able to step into? Confidence. Cool. I think yeah. Okay, cool. We can do it for both. So when I say, cool, when I say confidence, I want you to hear in your brain, Kerry, abundance or success. You just pick one. And Leanne, we want to choose a emotion that we want to step into rather than one that we want to release. So I think you've got overwhelm there. We want to choose one that we want to step into. Oh, cool. Awesome. No worries. So I'll do confidence, but Kerry, feel free to replace the word confidence. When I say confidence, you can use abundance or success. So I just want you to close your eyes if you can. You can totally follow along if you're driving. Just don't close your eyes, obviously. And I want you to picture a future version of yourself that's feeling more confident, slightly more confident. Notice how she's standing differently. Notice how her posture's different. Notice how her energy is different. What else is different about her? If you were in her mind, what would she be thinking? What is she feeling? How is she behaving differently? And as you really get a sense of this future version of yourself that is feeling more confident, really imagine all the confident energies flowing into her, through her. It's like all those different times that you have felt confident in the past, she is able to encapsulate. She's feeling even more confident. She's got this beautiful, confident energy about her. She's thinking along the lines of, I can do anything. I believe in myself. Or whatever other thoughts come to mind. And now in your imagination, I want you to imagine what color she is standing on. Imagine that she's standing on a beautiful, colorful disc. What color is she standing on? And then in your imagination, I want you to confidently walk over to her and step into her as though you're putting on a wetsuit. Just imagine that you are. And as you do that, you notice how confident you feel. It's like a complete shift has occurred in your body. You feel even more confident, with even more belief in yourself. Like you can really do this. You've got even more courage. That's it. And lock it in place. Beautiful work. Coming all the way back to me now by opening your eyes. So now you can use that circle, that circular disc, that color, to really, like when you wake up in the morning, you can imagine yourself stepping onto it. And so it becomes this beautiful anchor for confidence. So you can see how with these visualizations, we can process the emotion or diffuse the negative thoughts. And then we can step into the emotion that we want to. We have so much more control over our emotions than we think, hey? Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Cool. It's cool, huh? And you obviously don't need to do it with an audio from me. You just do it in your imagination. Good. I'm glad you all liked it. Cool. Okay, now I feel slightly hypnotized. I've got to get back into it. So the fifth thing is that you prime your day during your launch. So one of the very quick things that I just wanted to teach you was that you can visualize your entire launch going to plan. So if you wake up in the morning, if you do nothing else, visualize your entire launch going to plan until you can really feel how you want to be feeling, think how you want to be thinking, and see yourself behaving in the way that you want to be behaving. And this is especially important for the last 3 days of launch. And you can imagine why I say this, because there's a bit of a phenomenon that goes on, and I have totally experienced it myself, is that people disappear in the last 3 days of the launch. And it's because what they're looking at in front of them often is that nobody's buying, nobody's interacting with their posts, that's what they're visualizing with, and that's what they're connecting with. But if you can fast forward and kind of override that in your imagination, because your subconscious cannot differentiate between whether you're imagining it or whether it's really happened. If you can imagine everybody like waiting with their credit cards, ready to buy from you, that will give you the motivation to continue through those last 3 days of your launch. The other thing is, like, this is a really cool example as well. Another thing that I have been fearful of my entire life is skiing. Go skiing with my family, total skiing family. But it was never one of my strong points. I always struggled with anxiousness when I was there. Went skiing recently, and I still get the freaks on the mountain, like, I'm not gonna lie. That one's totally ingrained in my subconscious, and I think if I really wanted to smash it out, I need to work with a practitioner on it. But I'm kind of cool with like cruising these days. I'm a mama of a 3-year-old, etc., etc. But I did experiment with a couple of things when I was on the mountain. And when I went all sloppy on a really steep hill, I was like, I wonder what is going on here. And then I worked out what I was actually visualizing before I made the turn was I was visualizing myself crashing. And we do this all the time. We visualize ourselves failing. What do you think we're going to do? We're going to frigging fail. So you just need to get into the practice of visualizing yourself succeeding. It's as easy as that. And then priming your day during launch could look like a multitude of different things. If you've already had success meditating and you really love meditating, meditate. If you love putting on loud music and dancing or going to the gym, do it. If you go for a walk on the beach, go for a swim, listen to motivational podcasts. So it's not only priming your day, I haven't put this in the notes, but it's not only priming your day, but the more you do the stuff that lights you up, the better the energy you're going to bring to your launch. The more space you can carve out in your day to go for a massage, go for a walk along the beach, meditate, go and have lunch with friends, the more you're going to bring this beautiful energy to your launch, and your sales will ping like madness. So yeah, that's my advice. Prime your day during your launch. And so you can brainstorm, like, what is it that has worked for you previously? It doesn't have to be, I didn't put much effort into thinking of these because I thought that's a good one for you to do for yourself. I don't know why that one's there. What has happened? Oh no, I don't know what I've done. Sorry, I'll just get back. Prime your day during the launch. Okay, cool. Recap. I don't know what I did. So we've got you clear on what you want. You've decluttered both your personal life and your business. You're following a simple and easy launch plan. You're optimizing your brain function by using quick brain hacks to release your emotions, diffuse your negative thoughts, and step into the emotion that you want to feel. And you're priming your day during your launch. That's it. You're going to manifest some beautiful results if you use these techniques, and let the universe then meet you halfway. Let the universe provide to you. But we're not going to worry about the universe. We're worrying about ourselves and how we are, looking after ourselves. Not very articulately put, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what is working intensively with a practitioner? Well, essentially, everything we've been through is the DIY version. Working intensively with a practitioner speeds up the entire process and propels you forward. You're able to dig into the subconscious deep stuff, which we normally resist or can't see when we go it alone. Your brain is obviously keeping you safe. This is where I do work with people on their limiting beliefs, their triggers during a launch, because I am confident that we can smash it out in one session. And then they can focus on what they want. They can do all of the stuff that you and I have just talked about today. But the problem is when people journal on their limiting beliefs, and that is how they're priming their day. They're journaling on their limiting beliefs every morning. I see it all the time. What do you think? Like, your brain is then focusing on your limiting beliefs and trying to find a new limiting belief. It's not focusing on going for what you want. So then we utilize brain training tools that are proven to work so that you can deal with any mindset wobbles in the moment and trust yourself. I've obviously given you a couple of them today, but we practice them. There's heaps of them. And then you obviously get the external accountability so that you have a consistent mindset practice that actually works. And then during the process, we will transition you to internal accountability. So working intensively with a practitioner also gives you that very clear vision and your ability to connect with it. So one of the signs that you potentially may need work in this area is if you're visualizing your future and you can't really see it, or that it feels like there's stuff that's blocking in your way, that's probably a sign that you probably need to up-level your entire mindset before you can kind of utilize the resources that you've got. And we expand your belief of what is possible for you. So, no, I'm going to talk about that. Oh, no, I'm going to talk about it now. So I'm still working with a lady named Ulrike Krug, and she was making $2,000 months in January, and then very quickly we started working together. And because we did this mindset work, she had already done 3 months of strategy before we started working together. It just opened the floodgates for the work to come in, because until you feel comfortable making that $25,000 a month or whatever it is, your subconscious brain will elicit, or your goal will elicit a stress response from your brain. So the other thing that will happen when you work intensively with a practitioner is you'll obviously gain incredible momentum in totally optimizing your mindset and therefore revolutionizing your results. If we don't work on your nervous system, your limbic brain, in conjunction with expanding your vision is most likely to be the cause of a stress response in the brain. And so this is when, like, if you want to still just do the DIY version, potentially you can make your goal a little bit smaller, and that's when your nervous system can kind of incrementally upgrade. That's another tip for you. But to be honest, at this stage of business, you have no business doing it on your own. And this is a new thing that I've started saying, because really you outsource your admin, you outsource all these different things. This stuff is going to help you gain incredible momentum in your business. And I am blown away by all the clients that I have now worked with. I don't even know how many ladies I've worked with. I've probably got to count them. But it's every lady that I'm working with, and it's really smashing through all of those mindset wobbles and gaining the momentum and expanding that belief of what is possible for you. So I've already spoken about REACH, so I might leave that one there. And then this is a new one that came through. So when we did Tash Corbin's auction, this was a really surprise testimonial for me. During the auction, Belinda White wrote, "Anthea is amazing. I would bid on this for more time, but I know when I have finished my current package, I will have abundance to purchase more than. Highly recommend. No session is the same as the last, and your mind will be blown during and after each time you meet up with Anthea. Last Monday, we did a process that has changed my week up in so many ways. Mindset work is so important." So that was really nice. So do you have any questions? Pop them in the chat box, and I'll go on to just let you know what it looks like to work with me. It's a 6-month mindset package. I haven't even put the name of it there. It's called Launch Mindset Magic, and it's 12 one-hour intensive mindset coaching sessions that we do on a fortnightly basis. I am super flexible with the timing. If you go on holidays, we just reschedule it out. You don't miss your appointment. You get unlimited Facebook Messenger support from me. So some people use it to sort of journal on what's been coming up for them. Other people use it for a call for help, like before a webinar or something, and I've been known to write back to them with something they should do, give them an audio message. I called someone the other day because I had a massive aha moment in the car when I was driving. And then we do heaps of customized hypnosis audios for you. So in between sessions, you get this customized hypnosis audio that I have done specifically for you in relation to exactly where you're at within that 2-week period that you get to listen to daily. Sometimes we make them 20 minutes if you feel like you can do a 20-minute one. Other times we make them 5 minutes if you're like, I'm shit at being consistent with it. I need it to be short and sharp, that thing that's going to make me go. I really customize it to, you know, whatever you need. And you also get access to a folder of general tools to reinforce the work that we've been doing. And the payment is 2,500 Australian dollars upfront, or monthly payments of $468 per month. If you are at all interested, I would love for you to book in a free chat with me just to see if it's the right fit for you. It's totally obligation free. I get you to trust yourself on this one. There's no sleazy sales pitches from me. We can just have a chat to see if it's the right timing for you. Just email info@antheacutler.com to book in that free chat. And I'll always leave you better than when we've spoken before. So even if you don't decide to go ahead, I'll give you extra tips on, you know, what you can do next. Thanks so much, lovely ladies. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Are there any questions? And if not, I'm going to love you and leave you and hope you have a wonderful day. I think I can see someone typing. Nah, cool. Awesome. Thanks so much, lovely ladies. Have the best day.